Happy Thursday. We've got ourselves a beautiful day. The storm system seems to have worked its way through after a month. Not gonna miss that. Hillsides are nice and green. The air quality is fantastic. We can look way out into those mountains. A couple of Simpsons clouds up there today. Beautiful Thursday. So we got a little bit more Ferrari work to do on those brakes. Maybe some more cleaning. Parts are on order. Looks like a 1 to 2 week lead time. A little cool today, still 61, but not terrible. And you guessed it, we do have some BMWs to do some work on today too. So see what we can get done. I do hope we get more water pressure. I think it starts with the soap. It's completely touchless. That'll blow dry at the end. We've got it running 525, transmission, drive shaft, heat shields, and exhaust are all back in place. Transmission's going to need a little bit more fluid. They overfill it to account for the cooler, but this is some weird air-cooled transmission, not like the 530. The 530 has some sort of cooler heat exchanger here, and this doesn't. Those hoses just run up there and into kind of near the power steering cooler. Different design, which is bizarre. But it's in, and nice and pretty. I don't know why that's painted that color, but that's how it came back from the rebuild. This weird exhaust bracket's even different than the 530. Here it's got some sort of big cutout. I don't know if those were secondary cats or another resonator that used to be there, but that portion of the job is done, minus topping up the transmission fluid, which we will probably do tomorrow. I think they specify a Mobile 1, so I'll have to see if I can get that. Timing chain guide car is done, except for a diagnosis of the trifecta, which was not on when the car was last driven several months or years, I don't even remember, ago. So we'll have to do some scanning and figure out why that is. Airbag lights on as well. Left front airbag is the code. He says the tint installers didn't like how high the seal came, so he took the door panel off, maybe took the airbag out, didn't remember to plug it back in, but he wants to diag that himself, so we'll let him do so. Sterling, nice and clean after 10 days of rain. Just in that stint, and almost a month of rain now. It was really bad, so I took it through the auto car wash this morning, you saw. That got most of it, and then I went over it by hand and did a nice cleanup inside and out. I don't know how long these wheels are going to last. That's starting to bug me, as the rest of them look good, and the rest of the car looks pretty good, and that's kind of a letdown. The leather guys were here, as I said yesterday, and then back this morning to finish touching things up inside. And there were several areas on the like the passenger door panel. Someone had scraped it with a fingernail or something that have always been there since he had the car. And a couple hours this morning, and you can't even tell. They do a phenomenal job. I don't know if it's like re-dyeing or whatever touching up means, but they did this bolster here, that armrest. Looks really good. We took that cover off to check the top fluid while the seats are out. The top fluid is low. We have some at home, so that's going to come up tomorrow. You can see that right there. So we'll get that topped up. Maybe that'll make the top work better. I don't know. And then the seats I didn't film yesterday. So let's walk inside. I'll show you these seats. They look absolutely beautiful. It's some sort of, like, they've got a heater, little heat gun. Looks like a hair dryer. And they needed power for something else. And then, like, oh, they're in here now. Painting or some sort of, I don't know. I just keep calling it touch-up. I don't know what the process looks like or how long it lasts, but they look lighter, cleaner, they smell good. Kind of a really dramatic improvement, actually. I didn't expect that to be so good. Now you can see where the stitching here, they cover all that up. It should look more like this, but short of replacing the leather panels, that's all that can be done. And this was done about 5 years ago. So if every 5 years you got to do a little touch up, that's not too bad at all. There was a mark in the top cover. I can't even see it. I don't know where it was. It's just gone. I did pick one of these up. Apparently Walmart is carrying this from Hot Wheels, and weird naming there, but E39 M5, E46 M3, and the, I don't even know, F22 M2. Something like that. Also yesterday we worked on the Ferrari parking brake, and the parking brake shoes are actually out right now. We put the rotors, calipers and wheels back on so we could get the car off the lift so they could work inside. But we're replacing the parking brake shoes, as I mentioned last night. because they are pretty much roached. And I don't know where he hides stuff for this car up here. So they look like this, and it's the exact same design as an E39 5 Series, which is very helpful. At the top, not the bottom, that's the difference. At the top, you've got the adjustment wheel. Turn that screw and it forces the pads out. Then you've got these spring screw things to keep the pads nice and flush against the hub. And the E39 ones, you put them in and they're a quarter turn. These are just threaded M5 or M4 by 1 threads, nice and small. And then you've got these springs to hold them together. One of those is aftermarket, so we've ordered a replacement. I don't know what happened to the original. And then at the bottom, you've got where the cable actually attaches, and it attaches right there in that hook. But everything is so modular. It's like that pin is a separate piece. This is a separate piece. This is a separate piece. This is a separate piece. And that pin is a separate piece. So you've got 5 part numbers alone just in that thing, which we're going to have to put in the ultrasonic cleaner and get cleaned up, which, by the way, is doing a miraculous job on all of this hardware. Like, this spring was just black with dirt and gunk. There's a little bit inside still, but that's like 5 minutes in the ultrasonic cleaner. Here's the old cable. So the middle part here is where it kind of loops through this thing. And as you pull the handle in the car, it pulls the cable tight. That, of course, goes through the rear wheel hubs into those things and forces the shoes out. So these shoes are, I'm sure, original and are pretty well destroyed. There's been a lot of detonation here, probably from heat. There's very little pad lining material left, and they just look really bad. Like, it's not getting a good bite on the inside of the caliper, which we did clean up, and we'll take some Scotch-Brite to that. And make sure everything's nice and clean before it's reassembled. But those parts will be here soon. We're going to reuse 3 of the 4 springs and just clean all this stuff up. These parts are stupid expensive, $65 per shoe. So there's 4 of those. They want like $40 for each one of these. The springs are $40. Those adjustment wheels are over $100. You could probably get away with using E39 parts for the majority of this stuff. Obviously the shoes themselves are probably different, but that adjustment screw is probably manufactured by ATE. They just put a massive markup on everything. Black Betty is home. In between services, we've done the first major part of it, and then we've got another part that he's approved coming up. We just have to finish some other stuff first. Why? Well, I got the 540 clean today, as you saw, and then it just started to rain on my way home. And yeah, the rain car's up at the shop because it's raining. That's not supposed to happen. Well, it wasn't supposed to rain, and I spent like 3.5 hours getting it all cleaned up, and I did the tires and I did the wheels, and this thing needed to be driven anyways. So here it is, battery's charged up. It was starting to start slow, so got a nice run on the way home and another one tomorrow morning. Let's see, I already filmed a whole lot today, so I don't have a lot. I've been working on the FOC stuff inside. I got my admin credentials for the back end of the site, so I made a couple tweaks and a few improvements on that, which is cool. So we got 2 events coming up, one in February and one in March. The March is the run out to Borrego Springs, which is always a blast. That's where the car died and we didn't get to go 2 or 3 years ago now. That fiasco has been solved. So hopefully we get the parking brake, shoes and associated hardware and have time to get everything in and dialed in and calibrated before that February 18th event. And then the next one, well, that's the March event. The February event is something else. The Enzo lunch, I don't remember. Something else. It'll be fun. I'll film it. That's it. Tomorrow's Friday. Finally the end of the week. Rain should be over, and we've got some fun plans tomorrow morning. So be sure to come back and check that out. It's a big day. Talk to you guys then. Night.